My name is Emily Jones and I'm the Mark Kaplanoff Research Fellow in History at Pembroke. I'm a historian in 19th and early 20th century British intellectual history, so I'm interested in the history of ideas and particularly in the history of political ideas. So my book is about how a figure called Edmund Burke became seen as the founder of conservatism in Britain. So Burke was an 18th century Irish Whig. He was not a Tory. By the time he died in 1797, the word conservative wasn't even used as a political term in the way that we use it now. So this made me think, how are these big isms like conservatism, how are they constructed over time? How do you get to a point where somebody who has been totally taken out of their historical context becomes a figure of an ideology? And this is the question at the heart of my book. How did Burke, the Irish Whig politician, become seen as the founder of modern conservatism? And this is due to lots of reasons, so lots of people, lots of different newspapers and sources and political events. But there's a really interesting moment right at the end of the book that is really the moment when Burke becomes definitely a conservative. And this is because at the end of the 19th century, there's a huge amount of political and economic change in the country. So domestically, you have the rise of the Labour Party, new women demanding the vote, you have the breakup of the Liberal Party. Externally, there's threats from Germany and the USA, you have the Boer War. And this creates a context in which people are really asking themselves, what does it mean to be a conservative or a liberal or whoever in this first era of mass democracy, when people are really struggling to deal with these new questions and are desperately searching for new ideas and new inspiration to take them through into the 20th century. And what people do is they go back to past thinkers and try and create new ideas for inspiration and guidance. And one thing that people do is they go back to Burke. So it's at this point when people are writing these books called things like Conservatism, what it means to be a conservative, that people start going back to Burke and saying, here is our inspiration, and start talking about his thoughts in exactly the same way as we do today. So Burkean conservatism as believing in tradition, religion, the rule of law, wanting slow progressive change rather than fast revolutionary revolution. And what's really interesting is that that's then taught in schools and universities, and so it really establishes this idea of Burke as a conservative through society at all levels in a way that we still talk about Burke today. So I came to Pembroke nearly 2 years ago as a research fellow, so it's quite unusual to go straight from a PhD into an academic job, a permanent academic job. So I applied for lots of research fellowships and I got this one at Pembroke, and I thought Pembroke seemed like such a lovely college, and I've been really happy here, and the fellows here are all really friendly, and it's been a really welcoming place as someone who was not just new to Pembroke but new to Cambridge as a place.